Hi, my name is Michael Kaup, and I'm here today to take a look at and review Yomi, a fighting card game designed by David Sirlin and published by his game company, Sirlin Games. Yomi is a fighting card game where each player will have a deck of cards that is their character that will be the abilities that they use to engage in combat, which is similar to an old school 2D fighter. Now, the box itself comes with 10 different characters, so 10 different decks, each that have their own artwork, their own specific card backings, which are all quite colorful and quite pretty. This is the rule book. There are two of these beautiful playmats that feature art featuring characters from the game, of course. It also comes with plastic little jewels that, with the help of the life of the playmats, you can keep track of your life on. It is played by each player. You draw 7 cards. Your cards are all double-sided, so any card that you're playing can do one of 2 different things. This means you always have a significant array of options at your hand, so you're really able to make choices in that regard. So from your hand, each player selects a card. The 3 moves that you can basically do are attack, blocking, and dodging. Now, similar to in a 2D fighter, an attack will go through a throw will throw a block, a throw will also throw a dodge, and a block or dodge will successfully avoid or stop an attack. So you have this sort of rock, paper, scissors format. These, along with special abilities from the characters, provide a great deal of depth of options for what to do in the game. Strengths of this game. The components are all fantastic. The art is, I find, incredibly beautiful and very thematic. The game itself, the rules are very easy to learn. This game is comparable in terms of how it's played and the depth of strategy and tactics you get to employ to games like Magic the Gathering or other living card games that rely upon a vast pool of cards for their complexity. This game succeeds in having very deep complexity and providing that kind of gaming experience, except with that this is the entire set of cards. This is the whole pool of cards in these 10 decks right here. Now, later this year, that will expand with another 10 characters. There's a Kickstarter going on right now for those. The rules themselves, as I've said, are easy to learn. They also function very deliberately and very clearly. I've not encountered any kind of real rules ambiguity of wondering, well, what happens when both players play an attack card? Well, all the attacks have different speeds. The higher speed one lands a hit on the other player, and then their attack no longer will go through. So the rules function incredibly well in navigating all situations that I've ever seen arise in the game. And that with 10 different characters that all have a significant variety of abilities. I think that is quite a feat in and of itself. So amongst all these abilities, the timing of them, which in games like Magic can become very tricky to figure out how it's supposed to work, I've not encountered these kinds of issues with Yomi. The timing mechanisms are all quite clear and communicated very nicely. Next I ask, in terms of the game, the quality of the game, I like to ask the question, am I actually playing a game? In various games, it can feel like a person's choices don't actually matter, either because it's all luck and you can't do anything about it, or it's what I like to refer to as a determinist fest, meaning that no matter what you do, there is no way that you can win, or as long as you don't suddenly play incompetently, that you will automatically win, that there's no way for you to lose. So looking at these questions, and I say that if there's a game that either you're frequently in situations where you will win or you will lose, I don't actually consider that a game. what I consider a game is when your choices matter in the gameplay. In Yomi, I feel that my choices always matter to the gameplay. If I'm doing well, I can always get caught off guard or get hit with something unexpected. If I'm not doing well, that can always turn around. Now, some people speak about the luck factor of the game, because the fact is that two players are playing cards face down. One of them will beat the other. You don't know which one is going to beat the other when you play it. So that sounds random, and that's a lot of luck, right? Well, when you look at the character's abilities, you can begin to predict what they are likely to do, what they are less likely to do, what their character's strategy is. As cards get played, you start seeing what cards have been played, what haven't been played. You begin to anticipate what they're likely going to hit with. So in this way, as you're playing and you begin to understand the game more deeply, you can see the different things that you will be vulnerable to, that you need to look out for. Those things which are not such an issue, attacks early on that may not be a problem, that you can just kind of focus on building resources. So from that standpoint, when I have my hand of cards, I'm always engaging in a lot of resource management. Both in terms of wanting to keep a variety of things in my hand, so I may play cards that I have duplicates of, to kind of get rid of them or continue building hand for greater power later. I can try and build pairs in 3 of a kind, which later in the phase of a turn, I can discard pairs 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind to search for aces. Aces are generally the most powerful attack cards, or sometimes with some characters, a block or a dodge, which is a very cool thing. So they're really the most powerful cards that that character has. This both means that you have a way to build up great resources. However, while you're also building up resources, you're also giving away to your opponent that you have them, which leads to a little mind game of, oh, my opponent just searched for 3 aces. Are they going to play this huge power-up attack? Okay, so I need to block. Or do I want to play a faster attack because I know their ace attack is actually slightly slower and my ace attack happens at instant speed? Or do I want to make sure to not attack? Because if I'm attacking, they can perform a dodge, which lets them hit back with a single attack or throw. In some characters, with a powered-up ace attack, you could be taking half of your character's life total. So it could very quickly end up being the end of the game. These kind of situations are great, and I think create really great gameplay. So this game involves a variety of real skills, amongst these being hand management, resource management, reading your opponent, looking at their tendencies, seeing what they're likely or unlikely to do. Bluffing, of course, is something that can be engaged in reading the opponent's bluffing. Counting cards, seeing what has been played, what has not. And being aware of characters' abilities, to always be aware of what could happen, what is the threat, what is not such a threat. Also, saving resources for the appropriate opportunity. You could make a big attack now, but is it the best idea? Playing this game, it has become my fiance's, one of her absolute favorite games. This is the game that we end up playing most together out of any other games. So this game hits the table for us more than any other game. When I'm playing Yomi, I always feel like I'm learning how to play better. I feel like there are always discoveries that I can make about the game itself, about playing the game and continuing to improve that. This kind of depth is really exciting. Amongst things that I discovered like later on in browsing forums and continuing to play the game, things like blocks are more effective earlier in the game. They help you build your hand because as a card they return back to your hand and let you draw a card. whereas dodges are more effective and more powerful later in the game. Because after the game has moved for a while, you've been able to build up powerful attacks. Maybe you have 3 aces in hand, so that when you dodge, you can hit back with that single incredibly powerful ace attack. This game I find to be truly a joy to play. It is very fun. That being said, as I stated, it hits the table very frequently. The playing time is a very short amount of time. You can play a game in 30 minutes. The setup is very simple. 2 players, pull out 2 decks, and put them on the mats. Shuffle, draw 7 cards. You're ready to go. So as I've said, my fiance loves this game. So I feel like I'm playing a deep, complex game like Tournament Magic the Gathering or Tournament a living card game, whereas my fiance just feels like she's having fun and yet gets to play competitively. We've introduced this game to a number of other couples, all of who have greatly enjoyed it. Some have gone out and purchased the box themselves, which is very fun to see and means there are more players for us to play with. The game is very portable if you want it to be. If you have one of these like large-sized deck boxes, it really perfectly holds 4 Yomi decks. And if you pick up a couple 10-sided die to use as life trackers, you have a really great travel game. So my fiance and I will take this to go when we're on a trip or just out for the day or somewhere, and we can play wherever we are. For all of these reasons and more, I give Yomi my highest rating that I can actually possibly give to a game. Is it a perfect game? Well, I don't think that any game is a perfect game. I think on some kind of time scale, things there are some things that repeat. Though I find, like something like Go, where there's such a vast array of possibilities for gameplay that it doesn't actually ever get old. It's kind of always fresh. So in that way, I don't know. Maybe it is a perfect game. I'll probably take flack for saying that. I think it's really great. I stated earlier there's a Kickstarter going on right now for this game. It ends July 17th. I'd recommend checking it out. The complete first edition is available right now. So what's going up on this Kickstarter are a reprint of all the current characters with some minor adjustments, some kind of additional clarity in layout, which is a nice improvement. Again, like the rules are totally consistent, totally solid, but some of the formatting on the cards is being laid out just a little bit differently, which adds some nice clarity. So in addition to the reprint of the 10 original characters, 10 whole new characters are going to be available as part of this. So a lot of cool things. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that this has elucidated as to whether or not Yomi is something that you are interested in. So thanks again for watching. My name is Michael Kaup, and hopefully we'll see you again.